Hi, everybody.
Hi, Bobby.
Hello, Bobby.
So today, Arunima, do you want to run through the slide program? Because you have the
Uh, Bobby, can you just give us the right access so that everyone can add their respective slides? We actually don't have the right access to the presentation.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second. I thought I gave everybody with the
Yeah.
link. Let me just get to that.
Yeah, I have shared the link with everybody, but nobody has the right access. So I said everybody to keep the slides prepared so that as soon as we get the right access, we can just copy paste our contents into the main presentation.
Got it. Okay, let me go do that now.
Yeah.
What am I looking for? Google Drive.
Can you just give the right access to everyone in the call so that everyone can add their respective slides?
Absolutely.
Especially,
Absolutely.
yeah, both to
I'm just looking for
Gianluca
my.
and Tripur.
Yep, hold on. Let me just get to Google Drives. I'm very excited to see this today. I'm so excited. Let me just make sure. Sorry, my computer is so slow.
No problem.
And walk me through as soon as it loads. I'm just going to hit share. And I thought I did this already, but I guess I missed a button somewhere.
No problem. I think everyone has the content study, so we can just copy paste it. It won't take much time.
Yeah, and I realized with the user guides, I do want to talk about possibly using like Gamma or something. And I don't know if you want a demo in there of that or that is somewhere. Okay, so. So I put the link that everybody has edit access, and if you requested it, I also gave it to you. So that should, all right, everybody should have access now.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, no. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. Excellent. Okay, so you want me to run through this presentation? I mean, do you want to run through the presentation and I'll just advance the slides when you tell me? And people can add their slides? However you want to run, let me know.
Okay, I think maybe just you can run through the presentation, and when my part comes, I can just speak about like my role, and after that, I think we will go through each of the subcommittees, so we can go like that as well.
Yeah, I'm basically going to just introduce the task force and what we've been up to and then hand it over to you to do everything.
Yeah.
Run the show. Okay, so I'll do presentation mode, right? Let's see. I can't stand Google Drives. I have to work in PowerPoint. So give me a second. I guess it's slideshow. You get so used to using a program, it's hard to switch.
That's so true.
I'll tell you how old I am. I still miss front page. Does anybody here know what front page was? No, it came out about 20 years ago or 15 years ago. It was a Microsoft product, part of Microsoft Office, and it was a web editor, and it was awesome. I don't know what happened to it, but it stopped
Okay.
being a thing, and I still miss it anyway. All right, so I will start with, go back. So the TOC meeting will be going on, and Tracy will say, now we're going to hear from the documentation task force. And I'll say, well, we have a little presentation. We've been working for months with mentors, and we'll introduce them as we go. But here are our recommendations. So give you a little background. This is what we're going to cover. We're going to go over, why is that doing that automatically? Stop that. Stop that. So here's the agenda for today. We're going to go over the goals and objectives of the documentation task force. We're going to talk about the areas we have recommendations for, which you'll see the list right there. And then we're going to talk about overall trends, AI trends in enterprise documentation that the task force recommends, and then just some final recommendations. And then, I don't know, again, if you want to start here, or if you want to start after these two slides, but we'll talk to this slide about, the task force goals was to try to add elements of all of these things into the Hyperledger Foundation documentation. Our biggest challenge was the fact that it's so diverse. Everybody's creating their own documentation in silos, but expect to be part of a foundation. There was no, easy way to collaborate with people. And we want the documentation to be excellent. We want it to be accessible. We want it to be, that kind of speak to that. And again, there were notes. I don't know where the notes are when you do this presentation in Google Drive.
Yeah. I saw you have added the notes for this slide, so I think we can just keep the notes open in a side tab and go through them as we present. This will help us also.
Perfect. Yeah. And if you want to add this notes and stuff, that's great. And then the documentation task force objectives was to get interactive and community driven content, accessible templates and style guides, modular documentation, user guides for different audiences, accessibility and education.
Bobby, do we need to explain each of these points, or we can just go through each of these points? Because I think the points are clearly self-explanatory, like what we mean by accessibility, what we mean by education, or things like that.
Yeah, what I usually do, and again, I think we should move your slide where we introduce you up to, so that right after after the agenda, I introduce you and you take over these slides. So you'd be doing this slide. And just what I do from like just years of experience is I have those notes there. And when I'm reading these bullet points, sometimes I'll add some interesting thing. Like if I say modular documentation, this is great when you want to do an update and you don't need to update all, like if you feel when you're reading this slide, one of the points needs just another sentence or two, you just throw it out there. But again, I agree with you. I don't think it needs to be, read out verbatim what each one of these things are. They're pretty self-explanatory. So however,
exactly.
However,
but in some points we can add some.
And again, when you're doing the presentation, you'll feel the audience, you'll get a flair for what they need to hear. And then you just say it, it really does come natural once you start doing presentations. And then again, you'll say, all right, now we're going to go into the different sections of the template. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Let me just let my dog in before we have a noisy thing. Come on in. Come on, Sammy. In. Do this anytime. Okay, that didn't work out too long. All right, sorry about that. So Arunima, if you want to go back and try to practice. So I'm just gonna
Mhm.
escape this for a second because I want to see how this works. What is going on? Escape, escape. How do I stop the show? Oh, there we go. I think that
Yeah.
this needs to go here. So that I will introduce the task force. I will say, you know, this is the agenda that we're going to cover today. And now I'm introducing the task force leader and committee chair, Arunima, and you can, you know, put whatever you want on this slide to introduce yourself. And then you would take over from this slide. So if you want to practice, start now, and I'll just advance when you say advance.
Okay. So starting with the slide from where I will introduce. Hello to all the TOC members here. My name is Anima Chaudhary, and I'm the committee chair of the documentation task force and an LFX Multi. I've been working with the documentation task force for the last 4 to 5 months, and it has been an amazing journey. Uh, yeah, so I think that's it. Advance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then
Okay.
this slide will show up and you can speak to this slide.
Yeah. So I think the problem with the current documentation is that there is no clear guidelines, lack of consistency, and lack of some standard templates and graphic libraries. So the goal of the Hyperledger Documentation Task Force is to create and maintain consistency, high quality, and accessible, innovative, and community-driven documentation that supports the users as well as the contributors of the Hyperledger technologies, also while upholding the latest and highest standards of integrity, compliance, and innovation. And these are some of the goals of the documentation task force that we have listed down in a few words. Advance. So list down some of our objectives. Here are some of the objectives that we work on. First is interactive and community-driven content, accessible templates and style guides, modular documentation. One of the important things that modular documentation help us is while we want to update any feature, so that when you update a feature, we don't need to make the change in the entire documentation. Rather, we can just make the change in the particular module. In this way, it helps us in versioning as well. Next, we have the user guides for different audiences. Then we have accessibility, and finally, education. Advance. These are some of the areas that the documentation task force will cater to, and we have a subcommittee catering to each of these needs that we will be going through in the presentation. The areas that we are looking into as a documentation task force and providing support as a documentation task force is GitHub templates, GitHub Make the Talks, community templates, best practices, badges, user guides, and onboarding. Advance. Starting with GitHub templates. For GitHub templates, we have our committee chair, Gianluca. So I will hand over to Gianluca, and he can introduce the goals, objectives, and the progress of the GitHub templates subgroup, and share what you have been doing in this subcommittee.
Okay, hello to everyone. I'm Gianluca, a software engineer from Italy. And as we can see in this slide, I'm focusing on standard documentation bucket named GitHub template. And it is related to the documentation to support the different status of the project, and also to support the maintainers of some tool. One example is the documentation to propose a new project for the incubation process, but also how to gain badge, how to support user guide in creation, updating, and so on. And also in the next slide, thank you. We see that the specific status, the proposal status, referring to Hyperledger Labs project that already have documentation. But one idea, for example, is to add checklist to add a sort of constraint for to help maintainer, also people who wants to propose new project in the creation of all documentation needed for propose a new project. Okay, I think it's okay for this slide.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I will fix or we can fix the animations on that. So the slide should read, so that you did a great job, but it should go. Let me see if I can get back to it. And again, the animation was wrong, so that was my fault. You just say exactly what you said, that these support through the, the life cycle stages of a project, and we intend to. And when I hear you say we intend to support that by, I will do the click for the tokens, the user guides, and the dashboards. So that, you say, the GitHub maintainers support is so that we can, have standard documentation through the life cycle of a project. And as a group, we recommend tokenizing user guides and dashboards. And for example, and then we'll go here, and then that process to propose a new lab and the process and the thing should not be there. You should come into this with just proposal, Hyperledger Labs, and this checklist and say, what we intend to do is propose a checklist for new lab projects that help them with, and then I'll click and it'll be the other documentation. Does that work better for you?
Yeah, now it's clear. So to add, I should explain the different status of the project, and also talk that it's important to the tokenization, the user guide and dashboard, and also to check these different tools for each project, and also can support people.
Yep, and then our example is with a new lab, which would be the proposal phase. And then again, the checklist will be there already, and I'll bring in this other stuff. So you'll say, we propose to give all these, stages of the life cycle a checklist so that they know exactly what they have to do. And, and you can say here, I don't think we need to do a demo, but I like that product, Gamma. It's an AI tool that makes text presentations. If you want to say there's AI tools that will help us, do this, but you don't have to do a demo of them.
Okay, great. Perfect, thank you.
Yep, and then that's it for, here we go. Again, look, Aruna, we have to fix the animations. Don't let us forget to do that for him, or else it's going to be really crazy. So all these should come in right after the checklist. So this is easy for him to read. And then moving along, we have next. So I'm going to mute myself and continue on, Arunima.
Okay. So thank you, Gianluca, for giving us a brief idea of the GitHub template subcommittee. Moving on, we have GitHub Make the Docs, which is led by Tripur. Advance.
Hi, everyone.
Okay,
Yeah. Should I continue?
Yeah, sure. You continue.
Yeah, so hi everyone, I am the chair of Make the Docs, and first we will start with a quick introduction, like what is happening with Make the Docs. We already know that Hyperledger is it's a premium tool that Hyperledger pay for, and all the members in the community can use that. And it has a very limited awareness in about this project because there is no everyone, those who are working on their projects need a documentation with that, but not many people are aware that Make the Docs is a premium tool that is provided by Hyperledger, and I think they try to find other options for that, and they try to find other open source options for that, but in fact Make the Docs is one of the open source documentation tool which they don't know about, and then it takes a lot of time for them to do their stuff. And I think that Make the Docs is a very valuable resource, but there are more alternatives that I would like to suggest to the TOC members. And before that, I should tell you how to set up Make the Docs, which Make the Docs. So first of all, there we should start with installing the Python and the pip, and after that we actually need pip to install Make the Docs and all the essential dependencies with that. Then you can install custom themes, and after that you can make on like write configurations to your site settings, like what do you need, how, like navigations, and what your header should be like, everything. So this is how Make the Docs work, and this is how we install it on our device. Moving forward, I will like to give you a better solution than Make the Docs. So yeah, this is I've already added the animations, by the way, Bobby, and I don't know why it is not showing here. But yeah, uh, in this we can like this is the differentiation that I want to make, that GitHub and Make the Docs. I'm recommending that we should move towards GitHub, because you know the login process is much more so simpler, that we don't have to download anything to our device. We can just log in the Git book, and you can start working on it. Even though you don't know how to use like Markdown language, you can simply use it with simple procedures like clicking on the plus button, and it will give you a header, like everything. So you don't need any technical knowledge for that. But for Make the Docs, you should know how to use Markdown, because there is no other alternative for that. Second of all, the collaboration in if we want to collaborate in Make the Docs, we need an external tool over it. But if we are using Gitbook, it is kind of a version control, so we already have a built-in collaboration tool with it. So you don't have to make another like you don't have to integrate another tool with the existing one. And second of all, the moving forward with version control, we need to get a separate GitHub repository while working with Make the Docs. But there is a seamless integration with GitHub, and as we use Gitbook because it is part of GitHub, so we don't need extra repository for that. We can even use our existing one. Second of all, the last point that I think is the most important one is analytics. And Make the Docs does not provide the analytics when the website is published, and how many people are like coming on the website, what is the SEO, and how the website is responding to the people. It is not shown, but it is a built-in feature in Gitbook where we can select all the hashtags when people search it, all the keywords they search it, then this link come up. So I think which is a very good feature, and we should have it in our documentations. So as the chair of Make the Docs, I would like recommending another one, which is Gitbook. And with that, I will moving forward with the AI tool, which is Whimsical. And it is a AI powered designing tool in which you can make mind maps, wireframes, flowcharts, and it's kind of like if you put some a little line in the AI tool, then it will give you the whole mind map of what you have to do with it. And while working with the user documentation guide, I also used Whimsical for that. and in that I just have to write like make a mind map for user guide documentation, and it gave me how to start, what should be my starting point, what should be my ending point, what point should I cover. So I think it is really good, and it can integrate with any tool, Notion, Figma, Google Docs so easily. Yes.
Question. Are you gonna do,
Yeah, I'm going to give the demo.
so there'll be like a demo, like right here
Yeah.
at this point?
Yeah,
So
I'm also giving the demo for Make the Docs and Gitbook. I will, I will share my screen, and I will tell everyone how I think Gitbook is better than Make the Docs.
so I would suggest, like here, like again, when you're working on the animations, just
Yeah.
do like a circle or a star that says demo, so that when you're done with the bottom analytics built-in features and you're ready to do the demo, like a circle flies in and says demo, and then say, here's the demo, so they can read the word demo and then go to your demo screen,
Okay.
so
Okay.
that they know it's coming. People like to read what's happening next. So if it says, oh, you go through this screen, which by the way, you did excellent. And then you go say, and it has the built-in analytical features. Here, let me show you a demo. And the word demo slides in, and then you just switch your screen to your demo screen. And the same thing for this one. When you're done, like maybe the word demo should show up here, and then you show them the demo.
Right.
Do you think that after you use Whimsical, you should show them the Gamma to show how they make presentations quickly from the,
Yeah.
okay,
Absolutely. Yeah.
excellent. So that's where because I didn't want to, because when we went through it yesterday, there was no reference to that Gamma product. And I think that is something we should showcase too. So yeah, great job. And then that would be where your demo is, correct? Your second demo.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Go ahead, Arunima. Sorry, I interrupted.
No problem, Bobby. So moving ahead, we have the community template subgroup, which is led by Kajal. Next, advance. Okay, so for Kajal's subgroup, she has already given me the slides, 3 slides that I will add in her part. Yeah, these are the slides only, I think. So she couldn't join today, but she will be there for the presentation tomorrow. And yeah, so she will be doing this part. Is that okay, Bobby?
So she's going to go through these. I think are these the correct slides, or did she update them?
She has sent me 2 to 3 slides link. I will have a look at them if they are matching or not. I think these are the correct slides. The first slide matches, I'm sure about it. The next 2 slides, I have to see whether she sent me the same slides or it is something different. Yeah.
And then this is her demo. See, she has it perfect.
Yeah, she
And
will talk about Figma's Jambot and give a demo on that.
Okay, and then we move on to best practice badges. They didn't have the meeting, so I don't know who's going to do this. So I guess it's you, Arunima.
Yeah, I think I can do that. I can just run over quickly about the best
I would
practices
actually
subgroup.
do for this slide. I would take out all this information on this page right here that says best practices and the 64 bullet points, because nobody's going to read them. And I would just get a graphic, or make a graphic that references the Mentee program for the learning tokens, and put in here for
Okay.
best practices, say that the best practice task force is coming out with guidelines that they are suggesting that all the projects follow. And what we're proposing is that the mentorship project of the learning tokens is applied to best practice as a tokenized mechanism, right? And then just move on. And you don't have to do a learning tokens demo. And then it seems like we're on top of, even though we haven't really focused at all on best practices, it seems like we know what we're talking about. So we're going to tie best practices to the learning tokens. and then see if we can, what do you think about that?
Okay.
So
I
somehow
think
just
that's a great idea.
learning tokens in
Yeah,
here instead of all of this information. And if you want some of the information
exactly.
about, you know, because if you go to the best practices GitHub repository for the task force, it has, again, like we do buckets, it has like 5 or 6 buckets for the best practices, but we're only focused on the documentation piece. And you can say that, you know, say there's a lot of other best practices that need to be tokenized, but our focus was only on documentations, and we suggest using the learning token method that the mentorship program is using. Okay, moving on.
Okay, and I think even if we want to add a few points from this, we can just keep it in the speaker notes because it is not looking very good on the slide.
Yeah, again, I would get rid of all of this and just say best practices and see if you can get, remember when Nico, or not Nico, I think it was the Cactus folks, when they did their presentation for the TOC, they had a bar where it had all of the things the best practices need, and documentation was one of those pieces. So, you know, you kind of say like best practice is a huge area. We're just focused on this little piece, and we're suggesting learning tokens. That's it. And somehow get this
Okay.
slide to say that so it's not so wordy. Okay, user guides. Again, I think that's you, Arunima, or me. But
Yeah.
and for user guides, again,
Maybe I can.
yeah, you can speak to this. I don't think we need to really do a demo of the Learn Worlds. I can if you want to. I would just show this screen because there's going to be so many demos coming up with Gianluca's stuff and what, you know, we've already seen the other demos, and this one's not really solid. So I would just say user guides.
Exactly.
I really spent some time on the metaverse. So I have an entire area for what I call content creation, where this section will be. So for user guides, all I would say is that, you know, we recommend, you know, Hyperledger have a tool to help the community create user guides using AI tools. And if you want to say this is Learn World's example of, you know, how you can start building community content and just move on quick, you know, no demo here. Just say, you know, you might, we can get rid of demo link and just show this
Exactly.
dashboard and move on for user guides. And then onboarding, have you talked to Nkasha about this at all, or?
I have to make sure that if she will be there for tomorrow's presentation or not. If she will not be able to make it, then we can just give an overview of the onboarding group and no need to go in much depth, I guess.
Well, here's what I suggest for this one now, because I, again, do the org display. All right, so this was the dashboards that I did. I would just say that let's go back and see if we can do this. We're gonna, and I can work on these. So onboarding, I think we should speak to this slide first. Places to land. What I will do is I will take screenshots of all the places to land and just build the slide that way. So it's boom, the Discord page, boom, the wiki page, boom, the home page, boom, the GitHub, you know, and so you see how many pages. And then I would just at the end put a button there for the library. And again, I'm supplying that the library should be in the metaverse. They might want it on a wiki page or in a GitHub, but we're, as a task force, recommending a metaverse library. And then so this page would build with all the places to land. And then over top of it, I'll do one big stamp that says metaverse. And then we'll move on because we're going to show the metaverse at the end. So again, you can speak to this slide. I will build it today. I'm going to write that down on my to-dos so I don't forget. So that it has all the information on one slide. So we'll go, so for onboarding, and then you'll say, I'll move this slide there, and it'll say for onboarding, there's so many places users can land, and then click, click, click. You'll see the Discord, you'll see the YouTube, you'll see and then you can say, and we're trying to make this as seamless as possible. And our suggestion is a metaverse solution. And then that's all you have to say for onboarding. Do you agree with that, or do you have anything else to add? And I'll get rid of that
Got it.
slide too. That was just so I knew that there was a YouTube thing going on. And then go back to, so I will make sure that that slide works really well, and Gianluca's GitHub repository slides are fixed. And then you're gonna do the user guides, or we can stay on after the call and walk through
Yes.
what everybody's doing. So go ahead, I'm sorry. So we're done with onboarding, and then this slide shows up. How are you gonna introduce this slide, and then subsequently Gianluca?
Okay, so next we have the AI trends in the enterprise documentation. Advanced.
This is just speaking to what the goals of incorporating AI into community documentation are. If you want, I can get rid of the content underneath. So you just have course planning.
No, it looks good.
Okay. Okay, then you'll just speak to this slide.
It doesn't look much clumsy, I guess.
It doesn't look what?
Okay, so it doesn't look much clumsy, like not much cluttered. It looks well enough with the content as well. I think it will give others also a chance to read if they can't understand any point.
Perfect.
Reread the points again. Yeah.
And then we turn it over to Gianluca.
Yeah, I
Yes.
added the my slides to. Okay, this is a very interesting project for me, and it's important. It's an open source project because we know that already exist other tools which is able to reply to question, but the idea to create one tools using open source library is exciting for me. And I think we have also the other slide, next one.
Hold on, I'm getting there. Here I am. Found my mouse. Sorry.
Okay, this slide is a very simple image that show the goal of the tools is the implementation of a proof of concept. So also we can produce source code that can be shared to the community. And the idea is to create a system like the ChatGPT with the focus on FAQ documentation. So if we ask question to the system, it will be able to reply, to give us the answer, the correct answer to the question. Okay, in the next slide, we'll see this is the technology for the large language model, and the name is the transformer. And this is a list of the main application in natural language processing: the text classification, the translation of text, and also text generation. For example, giving a sentence, it give us a paragraph, and all the contrary, text summarization from paragraph to a sentence. And the last one is the question answering is our interest. And all the combination of that could be for improve, for example, a question answering. And in the next slide, we can see, we use this model is an open source model from Hugging Face, is XLMR based on BERT, and it has 560 million parameters, and is consists of two components. One is the body, pre-trained using this dataset, Stanford question answer dataset. And the other component is the head, which is fine-tuned using our upper ledger data. And in the next slide is an example, a small snippet of the stand for question answering data set. It contains 100,000 question answering sampling in English, and this using of the pre-trained model is a trick for also named known as transfer learning. This is a sentence which can give us the meaning to give you a sense of the difference between fine-tuning and training a model. Fine-tuning is like taking your car to the mechanic and getting new spark plugs, whereas pre-training is like getting a whole new engine. It means that we use this trick to save much time for the training phase, because we have a pre-trained model which already know the English language and also the question answering schema, and we just fine-tune the system to add our context to it. Okay, in the next slide. This is a very this example of our text used for the fine tuning. We used the two documents, but it's easy to add other documents to fine tune the system and improve this phase. And in the next one. In the next slide.
I'm trying.
Okay. Yeah, so it's also named a domain adaptation, this phase. The fine tuning is also in the domain adaptation. So, okay, the technique now is very
Sorry,
clear.
hold on.
Very, no, it's the extractive QA slide.
There you go.
Yeah, no, the previous one, I think.
One more?
No, two more. This is the, yeah, previous one.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Extractive QA, which is the current technique we used. In our case, these are the tool. Haystack library, which created the pipeline, and the retriever is the Elasticsearch, which search the most relevant documents from the document store. Document store is creating using our documents like Hyperledger wiki pages, and the reader is our open source model, which extract the answer from the relevant documents. And now the demo, after that, it's time to show a demo from the other people. Yeah, I put this image in this slide, but tomorrow I'd like to show the demo and ask to other guys to ask some
Give you
questions. Yeah, give me questions for the
Perfect.
system. Perfect. And after that, for the conclusion, future improvements. On the left, current. This model with half billion parameters, we can use, for example, GPT-4All, which 6 billion of parameters. And the data set now 2 or more documents. In the future, we can use hundreds of documents. Face, instead of Elasticsearch, which use embeddings to improve the retrieval phase. Generative technique, which is like an extractive, but can use different terms from the for the answer, and use also GPU for it is the processor for graphical card, to improve the save time in the training phase. And the last slide, I'd like to present the outcome of the project, writing a white paper, an article for a blog, for example, medium.com, and one post for LinkedIn, share our code in a GitHub repository, also write documentation for the installation, usage, and so on. And in the end, if all people agree, also share our model on Hugging Face. Okay.
Gianluca, for this slide, I don't know, because I'm proposing something different for your project.
Mhm.
At the end, one of the things that I think one of the next slide is proposing a task force for Hyperledger to have a AI task force.
Mhm.
And the first thing I want the task force to do is create a lab project from your work, making it open source in Hyperledger.
Okay.
And when I show you the metaverse, I'll show you where that will sit in the library, and how that will work. But instead of, I'd like to change this to present the outcome of the project. I'd like you to start this by saying, create a Hyperledger lab, and then all this stuff
Okay,
under,
great. But
so that they know what we intend to do with this, because I intend to make this, again, I will sponsor it as one of the last things I do on the TOC, and I will make sure that it gets in there and gets the support it needs. So all that means in the life cycle of a project is when you get into the labs, it's a stress-free environment. You get support from Hyperledger, but you don't have to worry about license or little licensing, but you don't have to worry about all the major things. And they give you the GitHub repository. They encourage you to do meetups and get other developers to help you become the maintainer. You get
Mhm.
other maintainers and the project just becomes robust. So I'm hoping that you will, when this becomes a lab, be the maintainer of it, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay, great. But could I ask you to change this slide
Sure.
as you can see now, and if you also give me when you finish the change of this slide, if you please let me know if I can check and also try
Yeah, see
to
how the
talk about.
animation and the timings. Perfect, no worries.
Okay, thank
Yeah, I
you.
think
Thank you very
Arunaba and I
much.
are going to stay on at 10 and just get, go through the slide and fix the things that we just talked about today so that it's done already.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Speaking for Arunaba.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're moving on. Final recommendations. So let's see. We'll work on this slide because I think the final recommendation should come in, definitely attend, that's definitely one of the final recommendations. The Metaverse Library is another one. The documentation builder. I think we should move this slide and this slide to user guides or badging. What do you think, Arunima? This slide might be a good one for badging.
I think as you think it will be correct, Bobby.
Okay, so I'm gonna fix the end of this for the final recommendations. We can do that today, but I want to do the demo of the metaverse. So I'm going to show the demo of the metaverse quickly, just to see what you guys think so far. So I'm going to, and by the way, if you haven't had a chance, by tomorrow, please go to agoravr.world and download the small app for the metaverse and join HFL, Hyperledger Foundation Library, so that when we do the demo tomorrow, I'm not the only one in the metaverse. Because I'll look silly.
Okay.
So anyway, so
Okay.
this is where we'll join the metaverse. We'll say, we anticipate this space being a library for everyone to come. When you walk in, you'll see that, and again, you'll be in here. Everybody can be moving around and talking with me. You have the library tells you where the latest meetups are, what the latest special interest groups are, talks about current events like the elections. And then over here is, I can talk about how you click here and you can see where everybody is in the world. So, oh, sorry, I jumped. Didn't mean to jump. So I'm going to click here to pin myself. And then as you'll see, okay, why did that freeze my computer? Okay. And as you'll see, let me run around here so we don't have to wait for it to spin. As you can see, I just pinned myself where I am, so that when I'm talking about that in the demo, you should pin yourselves too, so that pins show up for where you guys are in the world as well. And then we'll walk into the Hyperledger library, which here is a directory. So what I did was I thought that the outer circle So when we come in here, I'm going to change this. So this will be special interest groups. And as you walk around here, there'll be a representation for all the special interest groups with links to their web pages and their wikis. And then down this side will be Hyperledger Foundation, talking about the foundation and the staff and that information. And then when you come in here, I thought I fixed that. This will be information, current affairs around the outside. And each one of these is going to be a project. So this will be Hyperledger Fabric. We'll have the AI created step for installing Fabric here. And each one of the projects kiosks will have that same information on how to install. It'll have the make the docs or whatever that particular project uses for its documentation here. And if there's any classes, I'll put it on the table. So this will be like for Fabric. You'll walk here, this will be for Besu. You'll walk here, this will be for, so all of these stations will have a different project on it. And again, I'm not going to have it all finished by tomorrow, but the idea will be much more clear when I get some of the placeholders in. And then in here is where I anticipate that content creation, where the templates will be stored. You'll have the style guides stored. You'll have AI tools like Gamma and Figma to use and instructions on how to use them to create your user guides. So if you're in the community and you want to create something to share the news, you'll come into this creation station and everything you need to build documentation will be stored in here. And as you come out and go upstairs, this is where Gianluca, you and I are going to be spending a lot of time because this is the lab. So it's going to show you on here, I'm going to put how to create a lab, you know, and all the information on how to create it. And then here I'm going to use our use case. So AI for frequently asked questions will be showcased here and how to create that, steps to create a lab for it. And that's what we're going to do on our next call. Once we get this presentation down, we really don't have any more work to do as far as our recommendations, but sharing it. So we're going to work on getting that lab working and maintainers and other companies interested in it. So one of the things, Gianluca, I'm going to supply when I'm talking about this is that when we have a lab, we're inviting all other people who want to be maintainers on this open source project to come to our next meeting. And then around the outside, I'm calling this the maintainers lounge. So we'll have all the different life cycle information and all the information that a maintainer would need to take a project out of incubation. Because remember when Nico was talking to us, he said he didn't know he needed to do a HIP, Hyperledger Improvement Protocol, to get the process started. So all that information will be out here in the maintainers lounge. So we'll do lab work here. The maintainers lounge is there. All the projects will be here. All information will be around the outside. And my favorite part is after we do all this and we want to knock off some steam, we come to the racetrack. Let's see if I'm going fast. Where today's events are on Friday, Fabric versus Firefly race. And on 3 o'clock, Besu versus Cactus. And the winner of those will be on Saturday's tournament play. And then you can come in here and see the cars for Fabric. We can put, there's more billboards and stuff, so we can put information like ads for our members. I'll put ads for like IBM and all the member companies around the racetrack so that it looks like we're actually going to have races and stuff. So that's the metaverse library. And I don't know how we want to end the presentation after that. Demo, what do you think? It's too quiet.
Very, very impressive.
It was too quiet. I was like, did I screw up somewhere?
It's really good. I think this is the like the showstopper of the presentation. Everyone will be focusing on this part. So yeah.
Well, it's actually
Exactly. It's so interesting.
It's just everything we've done in a place everyone can find it, which is the most important to me, the most important part, because all the work we do, if nobody knows where to go and get it, it's useless. Okay,
Exactly.
perfect. And then I guess that will be, so our final recommendations is so I'll do these last two slides after the demo of the metaverse, or Arunima, you can speak to them. Let me just get to them real quick. What is going on? Let me share my screen one more time. So the recommendations at the end would be all the recommendations that were built in the slides, as well as we think that the AI documentation, there should be an AI documentation committee, which would be the first project to come out of this task force would be, this should be a task force, not a committee, would be the lab for the frequently asked questions. And then the metaverse committee, which would be the people who would be in charge of updating and maintaining the metaverse. So those would be the last two. We'll do a thank you and a questions and answer slide, and that would be the end of it. Okay. Everybody good with that? Excited?
Yes.
Yes, really excited for this.
Okay, so if you have any trouble downloading agoravr.world, let me know. And feel free to, once you download it, go in HFL, walk around. I know it's not nearly done, but as the day goes on, I'll be adding to it. So that's it for the call. Arunima, if you want to stay on and just talk about the slides and change them, we can do that now.
Did you probably
Yep.
I didn't expect all-
I'm sorry, what?
Actually, my net just went off, so I just couldn't hear the last sentence you said. So that's why I said that, can
Oh,
you
I
please
said,
repeat?
because it's 10 o'clock, we'll let everybody else go, but if you want to stay on for just for a few minutes and fix those last few slides with me.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Okay, so let's start at the beginning and let's get them done quick. So everything looked good. We moved your slides. We have the, I'm sorry, my computer is so bad.
No problem.
Okay, so this works well. Come on. Okay. And then I will talk to this slide to say this is the agenda we're going to go over, and then I'll introduce you. If you want to put a little bit more about yourself on here, that would be great. And then you'll start talking to this slide, introduce the sections. I don't know if we need this slide necessarily. What do you think? Because we have this one and this one.
Bobby, actually, I cannot see the slides. It's just showing me that you have started screen sharing, but I cannot see the slides.
How about now?
It is just showing me that you have started screen sharing. I don't know it's a problem from my side because of the net or some other thing.
Okay, so I'm just gonna talk out loud because I just redid it, and if it didn't work, I don't know what's the
Okay, I can
problem.
see now.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I
So
can see
my
now.
question was to you.
Yeah.
So you're going to start talking about the goals and objectives, and then the next slide is this one, and then the next slide is this one, which kind of says exactly the same thing. So which one would you like to keep, and which one would you like to get rid of? So this one kind of talks about everything, but this one kind of shows you where you're going to start.
I think
they're
we can
exactly
just go
this,
with the one with that starts.
this one.
And here everyone can see already what are the groups. So
Okay,
we
so I'm
can
going to
get
get
rid
rid
of
of
the
this
previous
slide.
one.
Yep, so that's gone. So then you'll go right to the agenda and you'll say, we're going to start talking about the GitHub templates. We'll introduce Gianluca. What does this say? Guide community maintainers. New community. Is that better? So the purpose of this committee is to guide community maintainers and new community maintainers through the process of getting a project through the stages, through the project. Okay. And then we'll go into here, and this animation
Like
was all
it's good.
messed up. What is
Yes.
animation? Transitions. Okay, so this just does appear. So it's one click for this to show up. So that was right. We just didn't click it. This is the one that has the problem. So checklists should be first. So let's play. I hate this program. I really do. Okay, that didn't work. Okay. Can you edit this? I don't know how to do this. Can you hear me, Arinima? I'm just gonna delete them all and start again. Okay, so I think that I don't know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, type in the chat or answer. But I think that that cleans this one up so that it says Hyperlab Labs. We're going to supply you with checklists. The stuff that you have to do in a lab is propose the new lab project, and there's a process for that. We supply, tokenizing that, creating user guides and the dashboard so that people know where they are in the process. So that should be okay for him. And then we're moving on to make the docs. That was fine, unless, where was this? Chipor wants to add a little bit more about herself on this slide, just to introduce herself a little bit further and more information about what the Make the Docs, what the purpose of this committee was, just to help with that process. Where are we here? That was perfect. That was perfect. That was the animations, but she said she was going to fix that on this slide. And then we were going to put the demo button. So the demo would be here. This slide was good. She was going to add something for Gamma, which would be great. Community templates. This was all perfect. If she wants to add more about herself, same thing. Perfect, 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 perfect. Her demo here. Moving on to best practices. So this is where we had the problem. So what am I gonna do real quick here? We need to get some graphics. Sorry that my screen went down for a second. And again, you can just, again, Arunima, you're probably gonna have to do this because I don't think Victoria is gonna make the process anymore. So you would just say to integrate badging and tokenization seamlessly into the ecosystem. Let me go see if I can get the best practices stuff. GitHub. Okay, I'm in the, sorry, I'll share this with you so we can see if we can do this together. Hmm. Now let's see what this has in here. Just any kind of graphic that says we're going to support the. I don't see the, oh, there it is. Oh, my computer is so bad. Oh, that's horrible. Need to reword that. Any suggestions? Hold on, let me show you what I need reworded. This out of the way. Advancing is not spelled that way. Not what I wanted. Okay, so let's figure out how this documentation badging. Gain badges is certain document. Gain badges. So what's a better way to say that? All right, I guess that's it for that slide. Oh, there's something in the chat. Let me see what's in the chat. Yes, Gianluca, you can leave. I said, I'm sorry, I told everybody they could go at 10. We're just fixing up the slides. So hopefully if you run through the slides for the GitHub repository, it should be fixed now for you. Where just build so you can see how you can say, you know, we are supplying checklists so that the process is easy to take, you know, from a lab to a whatever, and can even say, you know, we're going to do that with your project, but whatever. So this is the best
Thank you.
practices. Oh, no worries. Thank you for
Yeah.
staying and all the hard work.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. And then user guides, we're going to do the same thing. Just talk about the user guides, the user guide, or we can even say here. Oh, oh, that's beautiful. Oh, get rid of this one. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Whoever did that, thank you.
Yeah, Kajal is doing that actually. She just let me know she is editing.
Awesome. So I don't have to touch this. So I'm gonna let her finish user guides and onboarding. So for user guides, the only thing, you know, say to provide tools to craft comprehensive and easy to use community user guides. We're proposing a content creation dashboards and metaverse. Let me say that up here. And this will be an example of a. Come on, why is my mouse so bad? And then we're not going to do a demo for this one. We're just going to show this screen. So that'll be that, and then onboarding. Perfect. Love it. Excellent. You can speak to that. Perfect. What is this one? So this one's in the way, actually. Do I still need to do this slide with all the onboarding places? What do we think?
So can I don't think we need to like really add the screenshot. Maybe we can just say that you know these are the various onboarding places that people
Perfect. I
can come,
deleted it.
and yeah, we can
Okay,
just
so
list them down because
what was the question?
I was saying that we can just list them down in our words. We no need to write them. Like it's very obvious. Like the onboarding places will be Discord and
Perfect.
the wiki pages. We can just tell them.
Okay, so we're gonna have Gianluca then, and then final recommendations. This slide should be removed, but I would think that our final recommendation should be bullet points. So I would say recommendations would be should we say anything about a curated YouTube channel? Because we didn't do anything with it, so I don't think we really should even mention it.
Yeah, I don't think that we need to mention that right now. Once we do something later on it, then we can mention it in the future presentation. We can now stick to the metaverse library because it is the main thing and it should be the focus because it is really an awesome idea. So I think the focus should be there and not much on the things that we have not yet worked on.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, actually, the first thing I want to do is create a task force for AI enterprise. Okay, create a task force for enterprise AI. And that will be moving forward, not just Gianluca's thing, because I want that to be something here. And let me make this on one line. Why are you being a butt? Okay. So let's do this. Oh. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't type right now. I need a break here. My computer is so slow. I don't need the word generative, I guess. It would just be AI. Did I miss any? If you think of any more, please feel free to add them. Oh, yeah. Check with, I did forget one. Is that it? And then we don't need this one. We don't need this one. So I guess these are going, whatever, however else you want to clean this up, Arunima, it's all up to you. What do you think? Oh, we need this slide too in here before we do the metaverse demonstration. So here's our recommendations. That's the first one. And then we're going to talk about the recommendations, talk about ETH Global, and then do the demo for the metaverse library. Community dashboards goes up here. Where does community dashboards go? User guides, right? Or no, we'll put that with badging. Yeah, yeah. So that we'll have best practices, gain badges for documentation creation. Once documentation badges earned for that stage in the life cycle, advancement is possible. Advancement is possible. And then the best practices, community dashboards help with that by each person having a dashboard to let them know perfect. User guides we fix. Recommendations, just got to fix this slide, Arunima. I'm not really sure what you want it to look like, but that slide should be fixed. It's
Okay,
here,
sure.
and I can just go grab a screenshot of the metaverse. Did I do? And I hope again everybody joins me in the metaverse. Take a picture of this. I want it to be a little clearer, so I have to stand. Okay, so for here, let's just put this in here and then I'll do the demo. Why didn't it work? I need a new computer. Okay. So does that everything look good for you? So you're just gonna fix the ETH India slide?
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good now.
And I don't know,
And
slide
like
46
pretty
and
smooth.
47.
And yeah, East India slide, I will work on that.
And then ETH,
I'm doing that
and
right
then
now.
slide 46 and 47, I'm not sure where they go, but I know they don't go there.
Okay.
And then if you could just add a slide at the end that says thank you and questions.
Okay, okay.
And then we're done. Thank you so much. This has been quite a journey.
Yes. Yeah,
I look forward to
actually,
tomorrow.
yeah, sure.
Do you have any questions for me?
No, I don't have any questions. I will just work on the slides right now, and I will confirm with
Oh.
Sripur what she exactly wants on the East India slide, and then we'll arrange that.
Perfect. And if you want to put under the recommendations, add 6, go to events, and then you can lead right into that slide. On this
Okay.
slide where it says recommendations, just add, outreach, and then put that slide right out next to it for outreach. And that would work nice.
I got it.
Okay, so I will see you tomorrow. I'll be
Okay.
at the TOC meeting, so I'll introduce you and
Yeah,
I'll do
yeah.
the first 2 slides and everything else will be you. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Bobby.
Oh, no worries. We're not done. We're
Bye-bye.
just basically done with the work. Now it's
Yeah.
just showing it off.
Yeah.
Have a good day.